Hey everyone, it's Roy Cruz back again with me for 11 and Boomer. This is the second game of the NHL on EA Sports of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Tonight is a big of a night as we're waiting it on to have the impatient in, but the only thing happens with is Matthew Baldy, 2 goals in the playoffs, and a goal in the third period is Kirill Kaprizov. If you missed this game, you can watch here in the playlist of the NHL of the Stanley Cup playoffs on the channel. The new gaming of this channel will be soon in the future once we pass 1,000 subscribers. So we will need your help to try to reach on and demand to hit the next milestone to keep the channel moving. Its popularity and the quantity and content that we'll be bringing up for new energy to life. Once that's over 1,000, all games will be moved to the secondary channel. For now, in instance, the next matchup is the Ottawa Senators, and they're facing against the Carolina Hurricanes in Raleigh, North Carolina. The big matchup, as we haven't seen the Ottawa Senators since last time they played against the Maple Leafs in the first round, but therefore they face the American team for their first time afterwards in the playoffs. Doesn't really start off to be Brady Tkachuk or anybody, but as for Carolina, they got strength on the numbers. Tonight's starting goaltender, as we have it across, is Frederik Andersen, and for the Ottawa Senators is Linus Ullmark for the Sens, as playing confidently and at better strength in numbers. Let's have a look at the starting X-Factor players, as the star for the visiting team is the Ottawa Senators. The bigger of the goal line happens to be Tim Stützle. He has the elite edges along with the ankle breaker that does make the speedy elusive deeps. With Brady Tkachuk, the captain for the Sens, makes unstoppable, powerful reverse skits, along with the born leader and team energizing actions and a relentless kiss. Then, Jake Sanderson takes a second wing and the pressure. He only makes a send-it pass on that boosting breakout passes along the way. Thomas Chabot with the wheels and the send-it pass. Drake Paverson with the elite edges and the quick release and tape to tape. Claude Giroux with the ankle breaker and the quick draw. And it's Linus Ullmark, the starting goaltender for the Sens. He makes an incredible sponge on his reception. The same thing happened with Jake Ottinger on the other hand, but this play is different. Then it's Dylan Cousins with the quick release and the pressure tee. And lastly, we've had is Ridley Gregg. Wheels, lightning fast skating speed. Now over the other side we've got is the Carolina Hurricanes. It's the Bachanado. Big tipper with the quick pick and no contest zone puts up a battle on the puck straight. With Jacob Slavin, he makes a stick 'em up zone, and a quick pick, he makes the effortless interception and pickups. The Warrior zone makes that one paid out with all the repetition. Then Zach Jarvis, who has the tape-to-tape zones, he's got big tipper, and along with Nikola Ehlers, he has the wheels and a quick shot on the release. Shane Gostisbehere, 1-2 in the center zone. Andrei Svechnikov with the quick release in the big rig. Then it's Keandre Miller with wheels and a send-it pass. Then it's Logan Stankovic, the quick release and a spark plug. Then it's Jordan Staal, the captain for the Carolina Hurricanes. He picks a quick draw and a Warrior zone. And lastly is Jordan Martinook, spark plug and no contest. Therefore, we end up things here with the starting groups between the Canes and the Sens. My next broadcast partner across from the other side that will be starting for its commentating, I have is LJ. He's also along with the other groups, and joining us here on the other side of it, we've got Son of Beast, the Unleashing the Beast. And finally, we have is Jay for the third commentary of the crew. And joining us for the center ice is Balloon. They'll be seeing things play-by-play action along the way between Carolina and Ottinger for one big change off of Ottawa. We'll see what happens if anything gets in. See you all later, folks, for the intermissions and post-game shows. Now prepare for yourself. The Sens and Canes are next for the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Enjoy the next game, everyone. Hello, Raleigh, North Carolina. It's playoff time. And this is another one that we want to start all for anybody. It's about that time as we start the playoffs in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm LJ, and I'm here with my broadcast partner along with Son of Beast. And the third is Shay, and center ice, we have this balloon. Let the playoff hockey begin. Starting goaltenders as we have it across is Linus Ullmark, and the other side of it is Frederick Anderson. They'll be starting off for game one for tonight. Jacob Slavin will have it to Chatfield. He'll start a shot glove save on a sponge by Linus Ullmark. He'll fly it over to Jake Sanderson. The big break, and it's now Sanderson. You'll have it to pass over to Tim Stutzel. Sens changing numbers. Here's a fast break chance. Big save again by Anderson. Outside zone, Chatfield will find over to Sebastiano. Sanderson will take over and now find to Jake Bopperson for the Ottawa Sens. Bumps across from the wall. Jacob Slavin will have it out. He'll have that pass for the Andrei Svechnikov. Kane's rolling the other way. This one will send around the net. Big takedown here. Our first shot in. Saved by Linus Ullmark. Big break and the rebound. Back to Blake. Walker now finds a little Segelman. He'll look over to Blake. You'll have to misfire that one out of here, and this one will send all the way down in the Carolina territory. That starter plays off very badly, and the only thing we really need to know for is you have to be very careful. The cause of this point is a big painfulness, and playing against the Sens was not a big action. Walker back over to Svechnikov, and here's Miller. Walker to Svechnikov. That opens it up, and Linus Ullmark will have it covered in before only 7:03 remaining in the first period. With the last game approaches down, in the regular season, they definitely have win over against the Ottawa Sens. But this postseason was not a big advantage if they really did. How do you really see afterwards, Son of Beast? Well, I mentioned to say before that the only thing I'm really watching it now is that Jackson Blake and Sebastiano, they've really done a lot of things. And playing against the Canadian team was no big joke because only one thing really needs to get that one separated is a lot of hugeness on the fight. And no change-up would ever do for. Because what happens with Carolina, they really have started to get a lot of pick-off bad picks, and nobody has ever been doing it for. They really have to start keeping a lot of change-off to do for interceptions. They really need to have some quick picks to change it over. Yeah, I gotta say this before, but I want to say this now, dear. But for you guys, I won't believe that anybody that does it for real happens to be with Carolina. They played it for so many competent ways, and when I mean to say how they're really starting to get that pick off, they really have done too much timing. No better effort is really given a lot of changes. This is really what they really have doing it for some big coincidence on the passes, and no change off would ever do for. After a save by Busi, now finds over to Badish there. He has over to Ellis. He looks again at Bukishkin. Bukishkin the pass to Badish there. A back on the shot. Jordan Stolt with the rebound. And now we'll be putting up again by Hurricanes. Carolina with the rebound, now fighting Bukishkin. Here's Ellis. The shooter save again by Linus Ullmark. Ellis with the rebound. Badish there. Shoots the save again by Ullmark. Ullmark will have it spun shot with only 14:30 remaining in the first period. And a big confidence on this goal that happens to be with Linus Ullmark after a transfer from Boston. He now wants to know saying he wants to get a lot of new change-up, and nobody would ever do for it because only time will have to make for Linus Ullmark because this save against advantage doesn't mean to anybody. Yeah, it's big same off of this there, Stanley. I mean, I'm trying to look for some big kids. I'm definitely with you, but this is a lot of work in the process. Badish trying now finding Kishkin. He shoots one, blocks the shot. So with the rebound, saved by Linus Ullmark. Jordan Spence, with only 13:30 to go in the first period. He finds Cousins. Big knockdown here. Big quick on attack. Stall with the rebound. He scores. Jordan Martin hits the first shot off for the Canes after a stall with the shot. Now, we've seen this before. That big kid, not what is over by Jordan Stahl. I don't see any aggressive on this one. If that will take for the captain, he really took it over by Dylan Cousins. That big kid was going to make him knock down and pay for it. And now the other hand happens to be with Jordan Stahl. Watch this tip back in. That one just really tips it. And then this goes right into the rebound by Jordan Martin. That puts it back in. That is the first start off for Carolina. That goes right back into the net. So I don't really know how that happened with Jordan Staal, but that one was a really knockoff set that they really have to look for. No better effort would do for it, but when you do for Jordan Staal, when you play it like this, you just have to give a rebound, and Jordan Martin with that tip deflection back in. That's a great first goal for Carolina. Here's Robinson. That one gets knocked down, and here's Shane Pinto. That one blocks it up by Jalen Chatfield, and this one will roll it in and finally get to Robinson. Robinson pass over to Jakowski. Rolling across into the Carolina zone is Jakowski. Round the net. And William Carrier will have it again outside to Sleeven. Chatfield to Jakowski. Jakowski shots blocked. Goes down with the end toward the crouch. And it's now between Pinto with the rebound. That really has to be a run blocking effort. I was really sure of this. Pinto knocking it down with the play action here. That is a great block down for the Ottawa Sens. They're really trying to lift their answers. Here's blocked by Taylor Hall. Slaven now finds over the Hall and goes to Jakowski for Carolina. The send-off pass along the wall. Rebound by Fitzgerald. You'll have it over to Jake Sanderson with 11 minutes in the first period. Sanderson shoots one on a save made by Bussey. Here's Sanderson. Save again by Bussey. Cousins now finds to Kachuk. Kachuk to Sanderson. Sanderson goes right behind the net. Scooped by Jalen Chatfield behind the net and back to Taylor Hall. Man Russian coming. Save again on the pad by Elmore. The wonderful save only happens to be once, and with Linus Ullmark, you got a big playoff action here. Save made by Linus Ullmark. Here's Brady Kachuk. You'll find Dylan Cousins. Hooked it by Nathan Walker. Sean Walker. Here's Cousins. The shot saved by Bussey. Here's Miller. A shot blocked again by Linus Ullmark. It will take some time afterwards, going under 9:30 in the fourth period. You see that here about Linus Ullmark. That doesn't really stop and make that slowing it down, because when the breakaway change happens to be with only Staal, Hall just does it with a nifty move, and what a save happens to be Linus Ullmark, that really kicks it up a notch. Setting it by, we'll have it over this balloon, and the second ball is Sebastian Aho. Sebastian Aho is really one of the great change-up, and we really have to say this. The playoff has been invaluable, and the only thing happens to be one occasion to the other. What Sebastian Aho really makes is a good thing deflected in. But one thing changes off is no better than ever. Matt Shaw Benches is getting some one-time efforts, and do a lot of this he can. This is one of the great takes for Sebastian Aho, guys, and I'm watching it to have the X Factor, but the better no contest zone. Let's see how it ends. Back to you guys. Thanks, Balloon. Now back over to Seth Jarvis for Carolina. Shoots it deep and a save by Linus Ullmark. Will stop and play with only 8:03 to go in the first period. I mean, it wasn't enough for Sebastian Aho. He's really like kicking another step back, and this is a confidence zone, so he doesn't really start off in the beginning. Terrell Hall wins the draw. Got his first shot. Blocked it up, and Jordan Spence will take it over to Brady Kachuk. Brady Kachuk in trouble. In zone. Shot saved by Bussey, and Nick Kishkin with the rebound. Great save by Bussey. Without Frederick Anderson, you have to watch that timing carefully. Otherwise, you don't get enough change on. Big save again by Linus Ullmark. Dylan Cousins to pass to Shabbat. Shabbat on the wheels. Fast on pressure in zone. Ahmed and Kerry. Blocked by Shane Gottesfair on the backhand. And a save by Bussey. Ridley Gray. Outside Shabbat shot blocked by Gottesfair. Here's William Carrier. He'll send it around the zone to Jordan Staal. Jordan Staal around the net. Over to Miller. Miller will break and finds Carrier. And the pass to Kishke. When sends out of the zone, Miller will give a chance back over to William Carrier. 6 minutes go by in the first period. Carrier, he shoots one. The save by Linus Ullmark. Again by Pinto. Ottawa sends back off to Shabbat. Wheels in the zone, Shabbat. Ottawa into Carolina territory. He shoots another save by Bussey. Stapleton gives it to Kishkin, gives it to Miller. 5:15 to go in the first period. Really trying to give an attack off the Hall. Hall shoots saved by the assault mark. We'll stop the free sale here. Only 5:06 remaining. Let's send out the other way. As for the assault mark, back to Baloo.
Thanks, folks, and all the assault mark. He makes a wonderful, huge spongy with a spreadsheet. And one thing is to keep an eye on it, as Jake Ottinger is not just a player along the name exactly up. But as for Leo Solberg, he makes a huge mistake. He definitely makes a sort of deception with a big chance on shot. This deflection is going to give it all that he can, but no change up will do anything. Whatever happens to Leo Solberg, he does give us some better option. This is a great save. I'm really watching this on you guys. Let's see how we can hang on with for Leo Solberg to pick it back up. Back to you guys.
Otto, the 17th zone, save up by Leo Solberg. And back out is Sebastian Otto. What a save, and you really have to do for. What you don't really have to do now is that you get the pass up, and when you don't want to do, you don't want to give that close contact effort right to the goaltender. That one will have another miss option. Otto shot blocked up. And here's another one to Brady Tkachuk. That one knocks an unstoppable forcing it. And back to Butlerson. 3 minutes in the first with the shot missed wide. And rebound by Tkachuk. Brady rolls it in, now finding to Ridley Gray. Ridley Gray in zone. Pat saved up by Bussy. Another save in play. Ridley Gray, Robertson blocked up the shot by Walker. Line the zone. And Carolina will clear it out. Now with the changeout, finding to Jackson Blake. Blake will send it around the net. Take the zone. Valley inbound, and Artem Zub will clear that zone. This will be an icing. And not won't be a chance as another one goes by. Logan Segelman. And here's Jordan Spence. Along the wall, trying to give the pass to Robertson to Ridley Gray. Poked it by Segelman. Here's a chance of Robertson. Saved by Bussy. Bussy will get a clear range here. Jalen Chatfield to find Jacob Slavin. And over to Jackson Blake. Jackson Blake to Segelman. Segelman rolls it with a shot. With the save by Lee Solberg. Down to the final minute of the first period. And Segelman with the rebound. Chatfield shoots outside. Blocked by Greg. And a rebound by Robertson. Robertson pokes it again. Now finding Orton Zuck. And that's it over to Robertson. Here's Tkachuk. Shot stopped by Bussy. 20 seconds remaining in the first period. We'll get a clean off here with only 1-0 Carolina. Yeah, I know, I got a bad feeling with Seth Jarvis, and what happens with this one makes a big hit, and he smacked it down really hard. I think this is going to be a crucial to have that one returning to the bench in favor of it prior to the hit. Carolina seemed to do a lot of important steps, but no can do because Carolina really kept making a lot of big knockdowns here, and they wanted to shut him down. Big save by Bussy. Sends out of the net. Cody along the wall. Rebound up by Ottawa. Here's Giroux. Giroux sends it in the air and will end the first period.
And that's the end.
First intermission is underway. One goal starts for Carolina. As it's rebounded by Martin, they take 1-0 over Ottawa. Be back for the second period after the break of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Hey everyone, welcome to the first intermission of the NHL 26 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. This is a start off for Carolina. Have they got a big rebound here by Jordan Martinook? It's 1-0. Here's how they did after the first period, as I will send it over to you, Boomer, of how they did. Well, the only thing really did start off completely, and the one thing that really changes it was Carolina. They've done everything with 18 over 12, 13 over 9, 457 over 143 time on attack, and the passing effectiveness, they started off to be 90 over 86. And only the face-off wins was a strategy to have it beaten over by Ottawa. That first goal doesn't really start making that affair, but that is a 6-3 face-off wins. That's crazy carnage that they're really starting it for. They've really got a great kick off of it, and they definitely don't want to lose it off. So I bet that this is a great start for Carolina to keep that one from coming out. And to start off from the action tracker, as you got some big hits in range motion, and only Jordan Martindale with the first goal in the playoffs as Bofferson tries to give 2 shots on the goal, but it wasn't enough to give that managing effort. Let's see how it takes in for you, Roy Cruz, for Carolina on a start. You know, that's what we're talking about. That's Carolina way. That's where they need to do the same thing in the playoffs. They have to sound the siren because Carolina is coming in for the attack. I better say that this is definitely what they're really looking for Carolina. They've really got a great start. That's big, fierce. And without Frederik Andersen, it's always on Bussy. That's a great feeling to have that confident range in. And now let's see what your takes in for Ottawa Sens. How do you see afterwards? I mean, shucking down afterwards. I mean, the face-off was crazy enough afterwards. And seeing things with only just silencing the crowd and from the home bench on the other side of it here in Canada, I don't see anything that's going to definitely take out for plenty. The exaction tracking is definitely not going to be their favorite. And let's see how they did in the first period as we head to the second period. What is your bet here for after the second period is over, guys? Well, my take here is for Carolina. That's definitely going to be a great start. I bet it's 2-1, but I'm betting it's going to be 2-0 for Carolina. They definitely had started it up for Canes to have that smacking down. That's my option. And how about over to you, Roy? What's your say about that? Oh, you know what? I think it's going to be 2-0 for Carolina. This one might be the great start. Okay, well, the first period has gone to a great start, but let's get on to the second period as we end the first intermission here. We'll see you all folks later for the second intermission as we resume shortly. Now back to Carolina. LJ, all yours. For those of you just tuning us in, we are back here to get started for the second period of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Both teams are ready, they're all rehydrated up, and we are back in action, ready to get started. Alright guys, the start off of the first period was all about Carolina. How do you see afterwards? Well, the start really makes it clean after as Jordan Martin made a wonderful huge save. I was really noticing that the start off made it strong. The easy fast chain is really like giving a lot of energy, repetitively with petitions by anybody, but as I mentioned it before there, LJ, the only thing happens with Carolina, it's a great start. Yeah, I gotta agree with you there on these speeds, but I really wanted to say is that Carolina has been doing a lot of hard maintaining on the work since season 3 postseason advantage as they beat the Vancouver Canucks. Well, now is a great time to see them do it again here in the conference finals. Well, maybe there's one change to that. Maybe there's another great way that they could just start doing a lot of nifty moves and do it all what they got. Let's see how they change it up. I'm really super excited for this one. As for anybody, let's see how they can do it. Here's a set off of Sebastian Elko. It's Carolina back in Ottawa territory. Starting to get a poke off of the chain against Jake Sanderson. Now here's Bufferson. Bufferson with the shot. Saved by Bussy. Miller giving back to Tim Stützle. Bufferson shot. Saved up again by Bussy again. Miller given away by Bufferson. Here's Pinto with a shot. Saved by Bussy. Getting a lot of heavy attack risk here for Ottawa Sens as this will stop with only 17:30 remaining. Yeah, the only thing happens with only 5:17 over 2:04. That's definitely knockdown. No big corners would do anything if they do better. The win for the Sens. Okay, result. And it's back to Keandre Miller. He'll find it to Taylor Hall. He looks over. That's broken by Artem's up. He looks to Brady Tkachuk. And Sadie on this. Sends it around the net. Taylor Hall kicks over to Logan Stankovic. He's right behind the net. And we'll have that deep out zone. That's another big turnover by Carolina. Cousins in corner, finding Tkachuk. Tkachuk to Sanderson. Sanderson shoots one. Right off his teammate. Another big hit in the Carolina territory as Logan Stankovic in the rush. Logan Stankovic spins it and a save again by Omar. 15:55 left to go in the second period. He'll have another puck drop ready. Well, I can notice about Brady Tkachuk, he's really trying to give a lot of neck off shots, and this rebound is a big knockdown in the middle. I mean, no change-up is question concern of how is Trulensis going to help for Brady Tkachuk. That really makes him hit. Yes, especially I'm going to say of Brady Tkachuk. He really had making an all-appearance to have that one kicking it out. A lot of time left to be played in this period. 1-0 is the score, Carolina. Jordan Staal wins the draw. Nikishkin shoots it and a save again by Yasoma. Carrier will send it around the net. Monarch steps out. Here he's got to straight, not finding Nikishkin. Nikishkin waits. Patiently not finding the Goddesfair. Off to Nikishkin. He shoots it. Blocked by Tkachuk. Knocked him with the hit. Goddesfair with the rebound. Hurricanes battling in for the new recruit. Staal looking to Carrier. And pass broken by Cousins. He's over now to Brady Tkachuk. Back to Greg. Greg. Watching change. Saved by Bussy. Two-time stop by Bussy. 14:32 remaining in the second period. They're ready to take another puck draw. Well, Brandon Bussy really had that two-time save. I mean, that's a great stop of it. As Bussy started out for the first period is great making saves, but the second period he's moving is great stop carnage. That's a huge stopping effort for Carolina for tonight. A lot of energy left to be here in this crowd. 1-0 score. Otto ready to take the drop puck draw, and he'll win it. Jalen Sheffield will now have it to fend off to Svechnikov. Stops it, waits down, and waits back to Jarvis. A tape zone to Svechnikov, broken by Pinto. Shane Pinto rushing in, round the net. Chatfield will find Slavin. And Bussy will take it over to Chatfield. Fighting this up Jarvis with only 13:45 left. Jarvis around the net to Svechnikov. He'll have that right out of the outside of it. Then have it to Chatfield. Chatfield shot glove save by Ulmer. Took a whip down here. Ago recovers it. Back to Slavin. Sebastian Aho shoots it. Wrister on the save. Hit back in Band-Aid. Jarvis with a shot blocked up. Travis shoots. Save again by Omar. Goes right back to Goddesfair. Here's another chance to Kiskin. Denying the effort by Pinto. Took a whip down. Selingensen. Back over to Cousins. And that brokens it up. Jarvis gets over to Nikishkin. Carolina with new recruit change. Off to Jakowski. He fires it. Saved up by Omar. Oh, big hit in the motion. That's a big storm down. Well, you don't see that coming. I think that is a monster smash down. Wow, oh wow. You would not believe that. Yeah, I do believe so. I mean, cannot get away with that. Here's Robinson outside the zone. And we'll have to get a little reset here. This will send around the ice. Wesley will have it across off the wall. Jakowski with only 11 minutes remaining in second. Back to Jalen Chatfield. He finds Carrier. Carrier gets away with it. Rebound by Carolina. Here's Walker. Now finds to Chatfield. In middle zone. Broken by Cousins. The transfer from the Buffalo Sabres. He now tries to enter the attack. That one misses. And Stitzel. In zone backhander. Big save by Bussy. Carrier. Off around again to Robinson. Robinson. And back on the ice is Hall. Taylor Hall. Shoot save again by Elmore. Defending traffic is Brady Tkachuk. I don't know why they're standing this, but I bet they're not liking on Brady Tkachuk. But that is a crucial to guest satisfaction. Robinson shoots it over and high it up, and Zub will give it back to Tkachuk. Here's a video finding to Tim Stutzel, and Tkachuk given away by Hall with the poke check by Chatfield. Carolina back into Ottawa Sens territory. He's off to Blake. Blake finds Chatfield. Shoots it! Redirection goes wide. Sanderson with 8:30 remaining in the second period. Here's Brady Tkachuk. He's all alone! Skips it, stopped by Bussy. Boring a lead in to try to tie it, but it denied it cleanly by Bussy. Well, that's Mark Jakowski's really like seeing this skit. That only gives it one option to be fair enough, and that was a big monster down that you really have to watch on. Mark Jakowski's got a big Trulensis knockdown with the body. That's Trulensis skit. Drake Barberson trying to sink it out with the big deal with only 8:17 remaining in the second. And they're still trying to watch out for trouble. Aho went in with another draw as Slavin will now give it to Seth Jarvis. There's another one to Sebastian Aho. Nifty move. Shoots it, save again by Omar. Under 8 minutes in the second period. Omar's going to give a chance to give some catching breath to do. And another puck drop ready to go. And the draw wins again by Barberson. Here's Thomas Shabbat. Shabbat to Barberson. Barberson, that one kicks it up with the stick lift. And Jarvis will have that one cleared out. Around the net. Wheels in action. In the zone. Oh, Bajo, he really took over right into a hit. That's really what they mess up on. You do not see the sign out there by Sebastian Bajo. That one really kicks it off to the wall. Oh, big battle along again. Shabbat, back to Brad. Oh, that answers it and explains it to John Shabbat. That's enough. I'm not putting the respect on this. Here's Shane Scott fair to send it through past to Martin Hook. He will give it to Carrier. And no answers on the penalty for the Ottawa Sens. That one will reset the zone and back to Nathan Walker. He finds a deep pass over to Martin Hook. Waits patiently outside of it to Carrier. Holds it up by the goaltender. Carrier to Miller. He finds Walker. Keandre Miller. Ascend the zone. Blocking on the defensive effort. Stoll resets the zone. He now finds Carrier. Carrier shoots. Pad save! Martin Hook trying to go for two. Carrier. Wilson Walker. Miller. He fires it and gobbled up by Lamar. 5:07 to go in the second period. They'll have another puck drop ready to go. No seeing the crowd by Brady Tkachuk. He's trying to get answers away from it. I think that Brady Tkachuk was really trying to give it up and then trying to get away with this, and nobody to blame. You would not believe so. Brady Tkachuk. Poked it. Trying to stop him bounding. And back to Greg. Greg outside. Non-polar shot blocked by Stahl. Greg along the wall. Carrier seeked up the battle along the boards as Carrier will have it across to Miller. 4:15 left to go in the second period. They'll try to have answers in. Carolina back into Ottawa territory. Keandre Miller will send around the net. Fabian Zetterland goes down. Stahl. The captain gets over to Blake. Back to Stahl. Stahl shoots. Glove save by Lamar. 3:47 to go in the second period. They're starting to wait patiently to have a 2-0 lead, but that one still keeps with a 1-0 lead. 22/14 hits for Carolina. Pinto wins the draw. Ottawa back in the offense zone. Shane Pinto rolls in. Rebound up by Gottesfair. And now it has it over to Stegelman. He'll now find Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall. Stegelman. Goes right outside. And back to Blake again. Stegelman regroups. Ikushkin. Back to Stegelman. Wants to get some a little press here. And will have to be out of the blue line as he'll have to make a new change-off for Stegelman. Back on the ice is Svechnikov. Here's one-time Yachevsky shot. Blocked up. Now the Sens will have some changing numbers. Crowdy to find Mantipalo. Shane Pinto. Gets crushed up. Bussy will have it out. Gottesfair with under 2 minutes remaining in the second period. They're starting to get some answer smiles afterwards. They don't seem to care for it, but what happens with Carolina, they're going to get that one paid off. Here's Champion, the shot! Big deflection! And back to Robertson. That really is a close call afterwards. You don't really see this, but that says it's a big enough try to have it out of the way. Just under a minute in the second period, as Bussy has that one carried in with the glove, and they're ready for another puck drop. Coming up will be the second intermission, as we'll have it over standing by between Newport 11, along with Roy Cruz and Boomer, as the first period was pretty much in the books. But for the second period, they all have to start to see what stays strong. And that'll be underway next. Jacob Slavin along the wall. Chatfield got it out. And here's Svechnikov. Gets him away by defenders. 2-1! Oh my goodness! He could have had that time. Stopped by Olmark. There is no answer to spot on for Carolina to get a 2-0 as Olmark didn't seem to be unlucky, but that makes another save. I don't know how he's able to have it answered out, but that's another big stop down. You would not believe that. Jakowski Slavin should save by Olmark. Sanderson clears it out, and that will be due for the end of the second period. Big saves by Linus Olmark.
And that's the end of the second period.
To be knocked out by the stick, and with a rebounding chance, no can do. 1-0 still, as the second intermission starts now. Stay tuned for the third period, as we will get you underway next after the break. Hey everybody, welcome to the second intermission of the NHL on EA Sports of the Stanley Cup playoffs. This wasn't pretty tight, as it was pretty close, as nobody gets to that goal to have a 2-0 lead. It was stat still to be 1-0. So here's how they did with the total statistics for the second period. After that, as I now send you back over again to Roy Cruz. What do you see afterwards? Well, that one was pretty unepicable. And what a pick save by old Linus Olmark. You have to be playing an offensive zone. That one is pretty, crazy epic. No battle takes down, and, nobody really stands a chance. That really was always to be anybody. But nobody ever changes oftenly. As for Carolina Hurricanes, they're starting to get a lot of whip downs on the board. 24/15. And it was only 86 that changes over. And 91 for Ottawa. They definitely have knocked it out. Nobody to give a fair effort, to give a huge warning effort. They're starting to get a lot of knockdowns in the range. That definitely settled it, and they cannot let it score in big. That pretty much says it so, because only 11 over 9 face-off wins happens to be Carolina. They're really starting to get too much of the time on attack. And passing needs to be focused on the accuracy. That motion needs to be done here right. As we have a look for the action tracker skier, this shot of opportunity was left out all alone. That doesn't mean that they can definitely get 1 goals in. And that definitely has that knocking options to have that one standing it out. Alright, me for 11, I know what you're really seeing this before about the Sens. Tell about this, about the save by Linus Olmark. What do you see afterwards? I really have to say that Linus Olmark had really done a wonderful save. And that pick on stick was just denying crazy. You got to give that energy effort to Linus Olmark, because that definitely makes a huge stick-on save, and you cannot let it get away with that. That one is a big denying effort. And how about the Carolina Hurricanes? Well, Carolina's been starting to give them some hits off to, obviously. It doesn't really mean that they can definitely keep motioning it out and just goes whipped in and whipped out. But that doesn't really stop enough, because Carolina got a great iron effort. That's big goals for tonight to give that one big astounding. Now let's have your takes in, and who do you think will win in the third period for the first round? That's going to be my answer to be this one for Carolina, because that really gives an energy crowd level to have that one radiate noise, a better energy, and no shock down to be needed. And how about you, me for 11? What is your take here for Carolina against the Sens? I bet that's going to be a great answer to this call. It's going to be 3-1. That's my answer to the take of it. But for Roy Cruz, I know this is going to be the answer for Carolina, but his score would be predictable to be my choice, because that might be the only answer of it for 3-1, and that might only take the shock down if they have it all. Yeah, I might say so too. 3-1's a great option. Well, you guys have some lucky answers in there. I think Carolina can be the only one favorite to be winning it all. We'll have to wait and see if this is real to have that win. All right, I guess that one is going to be on the books. Let's see how it takes. With that ends the second intermission. We go back to the third period. As sitting by LJ along with Son of Beast, Unleashing the Beast, and Jay. We'll see what happens with that, if anything gets in along the way. And you'll see soon for the third period action. Let's see where it goes. See you later for the post-game show after the game. Well, it all comes down to this in the third period. As if you're joining us here for the Stanley Cup playoffs, we played 2 periods, and there's only 1 more to go. Right now, let's see what happens here in the third period. It answers remain. All right, Jay, and you, Unleash Beast. What do you say about the second period and how they did this? They did so really multiple timing that they generally did. And what I mentioned it before, that they really have been smacking it out. Did a lot of heavy work on the damage. One thing for sure is that we have to keep it. He scores! Jalen Chatfield! They have now got a 2-0 lead on the start of the third period. Well, I don't mean to say about Jalen Chatfield, though. Look how it happens from Sebastiano. Then he says, nope, see you later. Then it goes to Jalen Chatfield, and then he makes a cut cook. Nice corners with a shot. You don't believe that? Because that happens to Jalen Chatfield, he makes that squeeze it up. Now, what I meant to say about this, there's another defensive effort, and then Jarvis comes in to have a block on the shot, and then as Jalen Chatfield, he tries to have that cutting and squeeze. This Russian offense is going to definitely keep on going. Jalen Chatfield, his first goal in the playoffs with 52 seconds in the start of the third period. He really didn't think he was going to make it. But therefore, he died again. Yeah, you know, I don't really see about Jalen Chatfield. He really does all of it in the hard work. I think the damage doesn't really mean it, but that really explains it. Oh, this time he's going to give it to Jarvis and a shot stopped by Omar. What a save. And that power and pressure has definitely turned it over. No mean the better. Not anybody could definitely do that. Just shook up Slave on the fight and the Passover. And here's Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall on the pass. That passes over to Jarvis. Jarvis enters the zone. Right around the net. Otto. This time to Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall, right around, stop it, walking in the line effort. He really took a squeeze after it, but he saw it was coming, but therefore he had to take a stop. Just only happens to Jordan Stahl. The only thing that makes that would a hit, and then therefore he really makes that smacking. Carnage doesn't mean anything. That really hasn't hit a whole better effort. Still a lot of time left to be played in this period. Still nothing to give. A 1-0 score, but now it's a 2-0 score as they're trying to look for any answers on the back for Carolina. Now here's Sub, finding over to Greg. Greg, back to Matthew Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk. Here's Cousins to Brady Tkachuk. In his zone. That one's off and can't control the puck in. Jackson Blake rushes. Here's a man rush attack. Oh, Blake would have had that. And Greg denies it. Well, that almost would have been another goal. That could have been another extension. Nathan Walker. Sean going around the net. And here's Fogel. Fogel pass to Shabbat. Shabbat in zone. That's back to Logan Stankoven for Carolina. And back Jackson Blake will send it over. In the offense zone is Jackson Blake. Sends it around net. And that one steals it by Thomas Shabbat. Shabbat passes to Stutzel. Stutzel on the rush to Fogel shot and he scores. Fogel with the first goal in this playoff game. They're getting themselves on the board. A 2-1 lead. Well, that transfer only happens to be once, and then happens to Tim Stutzel. This pass-off gives over to Warren Fogel. And then that goal, that's pass-off with the tape. That zone really made it out with Slappy. And what Warren Fogel makes, it goes tipped and then right in toward the net. You wouldn't believe so. That really explains it. You see how boosty it is really by watching it, and watch his time reacts. That certainly gives too soon a launch. As Warren Fogel, they got it on the track. Fogel, his first goal in the playoffs of the game, as he's starting to look for his tying game effort, transfer from the LA Kings. And now we will have to see what he could definitely do for playing against the Carolina Hurricanes. Here's Shane Pinto. Stolen away by Shabbat. Here's Dylan Cousins. trying to look for a tying game. Another stop saved by Bussy. Jordan Stahl reaches up to Martinet, and he's over to Carrier. Carrier loses that motion. Sends it up to Goptisfair. Now it's back to Chabot. Chabot back to Cousins. He looks to Shane Pinto. 15 minutes remaining in the first period. You'll have to start off with Jordan Spence. And there's Martinet. Etchishkin, the pass again with Stahl. It looks like it'll be more than Carrier. Behind the back. Send it around the net. Broken by Chabot. Chabot in center. Back in Carolina territory is Cousins. That gives him away, and Seth Jarvis will have it back. Now finding to William Carrier. Carolina on a switch. Jarvis in zone. Stop by Elroy. Brady Tkachuk sends it out. Oh, he put a smack on Seth Jarvis again. It already happened in the first period, but then it didn't, because now that happens, they're really starting to make that one a mess. Oh my gosh, I mean, no change up. I mean, that really explains it out. Bussy with the save. Under 13 minutes in the third period. Now another puck drop ready to go. You see that happens with Brady Tkachuk. You do not mess it up. And I feel like, nope, you're going to take me down? Nope, sorry. That really explains. And Seth Jarvis couldn't do the thing, just like happened in the first period. Brady Tkachuk with the best defensive effort is trying to look for his first goal in the playoffs. I mean, I don't know how he's going to be able to do, but that really was explaining things. What happens with Brady Tkachuk, he really makes it unstoppable, and he cannot let it go down. Then Stützle, here's a penalty shot, stopped by Bussy. Slavin gives off to Taylor Hall. Carolina on the rush. Finds Blake. Blake sends to Stankovic. Stankovic looks to Slavin. Slavin, the pass off to Chatfield. Chatfield shot, close, Slave, made again by Linus Ullmark. Oh, broken it up again. Slavin shoots, another save by Ullmark. Hall will have it again to Chatfield. Blake, back to Stankovic. He's off to Chatfield. Here's Slavin, shoots, save by Ullmark. 11:15 remaining in the third period. Starting to get a lot of piece of attack motion again. Brendan Bussy, what a save on this one effort, and I gotta give this one a good best goaltender of the night. And Brendan Bussy really did. I mean, that's really what he was able to do. That one saves it over Frederick Davison. Yeah, he's been playing up there so many times. I mean, I gotta say, Brendan Bussy, what a huge miraculous save. That's 24 in a row. You wouldn't believe it. Brendan Bussy looking for the first win in the playoffs against the Ottawa Senators, and it's still 2-1. Now to win for Ottawa Senators, and here's Manipolo again the duo. Ottawa on a fast break, and saved by Bussy. Bussy's going to hang on with under 11 minutes in the third period, and they'll get ready for another puck drop. The thing about Jalen Chatfield is that's the only thing that he's able to do for. I mean, one time snaps it, and the only thing that happens to Jalen Chatfield is trying to look for a deep shot. Didn't work, and now this time Sebastian not only did this, and the Jalen Chatfield that only makes a cut and got that good squeeze in there. That's the only third period that you got a good recap on. I mean, nothing to say about Jalen Chatfield, but Sebastian Aho has been doing really well too with some assists, so he's got to give that credit a better look. Walker and a pass over to Seth Jarvis. Seth Jarvis takes a pass. Aho shot save made by Omar. Stretchkov. Walker with the changeoff to Aho shoots save by Omar. Back to Jarvis. Looks up. Miller blocking the pants effort. Miller gives it to Aho shot stopped by Omar. He's not believing this. And he's got a sponge out. No way, man. I do not always gotta say, how do you feel like if you're being saved by a bunch? Linus Ullmark got tased out. Aho again. Passes Svechnikov. Poked it up again by Ullmark. Miller shoots. Blocked up. Big tipper trying to get it back. And we passed the midway mark in the third. Brady Tkachuk already passes to Cousins. Took a smackdown for the Storm. Surge it to Walker. The Hurricanes back in the offense in the Sens territory. Here's Stahl. Stahl trying to watch on Carrier. Carrier pass to Walker. Walker finds to Martinuk. Martinuk broken it up by an sense. And Ridley Gregg. Pass off to Artem Zub. He looks over to Brady Kachuk. Kachuk with the motion. Slavin. And that pass is broken again by the Sens. Great defense by the Canes. And now here's Jacob Stahl. Jordan Stahl. Carrier to look to Jordan Martinuk. And they go offside. 7:41 remaining in the third period. It'll get another puck draw ready. Stay tuned for the next couple games. That's later tonight. We've got the Buffalo Sabres, and they face against the Boston Bruins since Season 4 of the regulation. And as for that, they will now meet in the playoffs. This is going to be exciting, folks. I really can't wait to see what Buffalo Sabres have. Since they've never been in the postseason, they finally managed to make one. I'm pretty sure this is going to be Buffalo Sabres night, so I bet it's going to be Pep, crowd favorite. Everybody's going to love it. And then after that one, the next game will be happening with the Golden Knights. They face against the Mammoths. Here at coverage of the game starts at 9:30 p.m. Be sure to check your local listings on Son of Peace. If you already subscribed, you can check out under tons of that one by hitting the bell icon so you never miss out with the new post of the videos. Stall shot stopped by Omar. And a rebound by Carolina. Here's Slavin. Slavin. Over to Carrier, shot pad, again by Omar. Shane Pinto kicks it across Artem Zub, now finds to Mike Amidio. Senators back into Canes territory. Amidio's shot chance blocked by Slavin, and Blake will have that cleared out of the blue line. And Blake will send to Stankoven. This one will clear it out. Oh, he flanks the stall. And the save made by Omar. That was almost close enough. He flanks it to give it to Hall, and I thought that was going to be a clear out. We're under 5 minutes presented by Discover in the third period, and Seth Jarvis will kick it back. Back to Seth Jarvis. Jarvis will clear that zone around the net, and Logan Stankoven. New line group change for the Sens and the Canes. Goddess there passes Svechnikov, and that one gets knocked over. Bofferson. Good slick move on the cut. And there will be a tripping penalty. That's going to be on Nichushkin. That first penalty is going to be on Carolina. Watch this mistake
Carolina,
here.
number
Watch
21,
the
2 minutes for
that
tripping.
one gets right by the blade, and then therefore you trip somebody up. That one is a bad play. You don't want to start that off, and now this will be the Sens' chance to tie it up. Senators are on a power play, and we're just only nearing under 5 minutes. They're ready for the puck draw. Power play needs to be settled in there because if you don't do it the right thing, you don't want to make a mistake. They got to start watching out with some power play goals on the two. This will be a chance for the Sens to tie it up.
16-13 remaining in the third
Nathan
period.
Walker will clear that zone, and Aho will kick the pass saved by under 3:30 to go.
In the third period, playoffs 60 minutes.
Here's Shane Pinto for the Sens. Bojal shoots, saved by Bussy. Jarvis to clear that zone. Here's Chabot, open high over the net after a blocking shot, and that one will clear out of the zone. That blocking shot happens to be, and now as Sean Walker, he's going to have to get off the ice. Here's for Gerald, 2-on-1, save on Bussy. Under 3 minutes remaining in the third. What a great stopping effort to have a denying effort. You know, Brandon Bussy, he could definitely keep all over it. And a glove save, you cannot let him mess up. You see, 2-on-1 option, and then this one goes over, and then now as Giroux tries to tie that one up, Bussy denied the effort. That's a great chance. And now sending over to the center ice, I will now give it off is Baloo. We'll have the best player of the game in game 1.
Well, thanks, fellas. I have to say about this because I know that Sebastian Aho did that, and that's a great assist when you got a watching zone. The best player ever has to be only Sebastian Aho, and he's really doing it as well as he can. He assists is pretty great. I mean, he's definitely playing a lot of quick draws, face-off, and opponents. Definitely got to give the credit to that.
Here's another chance over for Ottawa. And Kachukso cracked it up. And that one is a backstopper denied by Bussy. Clears that zone. And Mario will lead that here. 2:30 remaining, only 40 seconds for the Sens power play. Sanderson looks for Cousins, and here's Tim Stützle. This one gets it off. That one graces over across, Slavin around the net. Got his fair, will fling that out of here and back into Sens territory. Just nearing 2 minutes, and here's Stützle. And here's Kachuk. That gives it up. Got his fair, will get it up and will clear it out. Nikishkin's time's about to expire. Coming out of the box is Nikishkin. Here's Cousins and offside. It's going to be off stopping here with only under 2 minutes, only 1:49 remaining. Just 33 over 21. Canes have been on fire. The dominating effort doesn't really pay it off. And no, it doesn't. I mean, anything that does so, that really has to hit it off. And that target range doesn't really keep happening. Power play's over for Ottawa Sens, and it's back to a full strength for the Canes. I loved how they were doing it for. Canes did a wonderful job. That's a giveaway. Oh, almost going to get that goal for Jarvis and denied by Omar. Well, he's seeing that coming, and then that would definitely make the one-time shot go in. Final minute in the first period. He brings that one out. And this will be an icing on Carolina. Under a minute remaining in the third period. They'll have another puck drop coming in bounds.
Canes, time to sound.
Kane starts rising as the sounding a siren nearing under a final minute in the third. Here's Spence shot. Up and saved by Bussy. And he'll have to try to weave that one out. And this will clear the zone. Icy again on the Canes. And now as Olmark will pull out of the goal, it will be an extra tackle coming on. Man, Sebastian Aho, he slings that one out. And what he does for him, he makes that one a hit. That could definitely be hurt. And nothing what you said before that the Sens, they definitely have a lot of dirty message to have that sending. That's definitely a bad cause for disruption. Extra checker on for the Sens. And as for the Canes, they're starting to look for numbers. Aho wins the draw. Slavin back to Aho. 40 seconds remaining. Taylor Hall's out of here. Empty, not too wide. Chabot now sends to Kachuk. Cousins. It's broken up. Hall shoots and he scores. Hurricanes will start celebrating game one. Taylor Hall empty that goal. Well, the only empty net doesn't happen to be this, and then when it turns is over, then Hall is setting it out of here. That goes with the goal, and that bangs it right toward the net. You cannot let it slow down. And possibly the fans start rising as the storm surge takes over the Sens. They'll be back for game number 2, and if necessary, we'll have game 3 back in Carolina. True Lensis on the hit by Kachuk, and the save by Bussy. Slavin clears the zone out. Icy again on the Canes. 15.4 seconds in the third period. Nearing down to the end, Taylor Hall with his first goal in the playoffs, and he has one. And as a 3-1 gives it an empty net goal, he'll start looking for 2 more to see how he can hand on. And the Singleton will kick the puck zone out. They will end it and leave it here. Hurricanes will win the first game over the Sens. On to a great start. It doesn't mean for all. Score beats Sens. Well, what a game happens. Busted the first win in the playoffs. That's what you gotta do for. Word up. Now that's what happens when you call it for Bussy. The only thing that you need to do for it is without Mark Anderson, you cannot let it get away with that. And here comes the storm surge. They're starting celebrating. Goes down with the ball. And the Canes win it all. Well, that's what being said here, along with my broadcast partner with Balloon and Centerpiece and third commentary of the crew, DJ Beast, I'm LJ. You've been watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on EA Sports. Thanks for joining Canes Hockey of the game, and we'll see you next time for another tremendous and the playoff of Inbound. Good night in Raleigh, North Carolina. All right, thanks there, LJ. And the finish off happens to be the great start by Carolina. Ricochet and win it all. Here tonight's three-star players. Jalen Chatfield, 1 goal and 2 hits. He only does this to have this cut. After a tape on his own, he makes a squeeze to Ricochet into net. Then, the second-star player of the game goes to Brendan Bussey with 32 saves in a row, beating against the Ottawa Sens, and that's his first playoff win against the other teams. Then, the final player goes to Linus Ullmark, 47 saves in a row, but he does it all for anything. And here are the final statistics on the other side of it. 50 over 33 shots on goal for Carolina, 43 over 24 hits for Carolina, 13-22 over 432 timeout attack for Carolina, 93 over 82 passing effectiveness for Ottawa Sens. Then it was 20 over 416 face-off wins for Ottawa Sens. 2-minute penalty kill happens to be a tripping on Nichushkin, and there is no power play goals to take, where Ottawa, as they only leave 2 minutes behind. So that's it for the first 2 days of the game. Don't worry, folks, we got our next game coming up later tonight. It's the Sabres and the Boston Bruins in Sabretown at KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. That's going to be coming up here next. Right after this, we're going to take our musical chairs and we're going to be switching up the other side of it soon. So get ready for the next game and later for tonight, as we've got the other side of it with you, Golden Knights and Mammoths, for the first game at T-Mobile Arena. Well, thanks for joining us here for the first 2 games, but now we gotta tune out. Along my broadcast partner, along with Boomer, B411, I'm Roy Cruz. Thanks for watching the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we'll see you next time for as a while as the NHL 26 gameplay on EA Sports.
If you don't, somebody will.